welcome to another edition of the Wonderberry Podcast.
I'm Brian,
I'm announcer Dave.
and you can find us online at wonderberry.com.
You can find me online at Open Darkwing. I am finally posting pictures on Instagram again.
Ooh, and you can find me online at briankeesbury.com, where I am not posting on Instagram. I'm only posting there.
Gotcha. It's been another week.
It has been. How are you adapting to your new school schedule?
I'm doing all right. Like, the photography side has been a lot of fun, and there's a lot of work to it, but not nearly as much as the video side, because holy shit. So, remember a while back, I talked about getting in my own head and having to learn and realize that good enough is done. Like never being finished with a project or never being happier or happy with a project.
Yeah.
If there was any situation to absolutely light a fire under my ass and get me out of that headspace, go take a videography class. Because they don't give you time for shit to it's like, okay, it's good enough. Let's upload it. So Wednesday nights.
That's what deadlines are for.
Yeah. So Wednesday night we got our homework assignment. And because, Monday is a holiday, we're not going to be going in on Monday. So I have until end of class next Wednesday night to turn in a project, which means I need to write, storyboard, and film a 2-minute stop motion film.
Oof.
And have it ready for turn in at the end of class, which is it's gonna be a labs class next week. So I can do a bunch of stuff there.
You don't have to film it though, right?
And I have to do I have to film it.
Oh, Jesus.
And edit it and Foley or sound effect it.
What?
And have storyboards built. You want to talk about getting out of my head of over analyzing and nitpicking something until I run out of time on a project. Holy shit, there's some deadlines.
Yeah. Woo.
I like it. Like I got the last one done just fine because I had even less time. I had less than a week. We got my first student film thing that I did. We got the stuff on Wednesday and it needed to be turned in by Monday at the end of class. And so there's 10 cinematic shots. There's 10 different styles. You got your ultra wide, you got your wide, your mediums, first person, over the shoulder, all sorts of different portrait shots. So there's 10 of them. We had to create a film that was at a minimum of 2 minutes long that incorporated all 10 shots with a story, storyboarded, edited, and turned in from Wednesday night to Monday night.
Damn.
So we are definitely on. I'm definitely on a bit more of a of the tighter deadlines thing.
Yeah, they're like fast pacing you through stuff.
And I'm perfectly fine with that because I need to get in the habit of coming up with something and executing it quickly and learning the techniques I need to learn to push these things out better so that I'm not over nitpicking everything. Because I need a push to get myself out of that mindset. I think 8 weeks in the videography class will do that. But this is awesome. I love this class. Like half the class decided to drop out after the first night. So it's the teacher and there's 4 of us students now. So you want to talk about some one-on-one quality, like there's little enough people to where there's a lot more personal and one-on-one help time if you need it, which is phenomenal. Yeah. I'll take that every time.
They're probably kind of setting up some like prep work for you to You know, like if you were going into like the real world of dealing with clients needing video work done, like the turnaround time for a request on a from a client is real fast. Like,
Yep. And it's that I need that fast pace to where I'm not working at my own pace. I'm working at someone else's
yeah,
pace.
because that's what I get from like my web clients. They're like, I s- sometimes they're like, hey, well, I'll talk to them on a Wednesday, and they're like, yeah, I need this done by like next Sunday, which is, you know, Wednesday.
Like 4
Well,
days.
no, it'd be 4 plus 7, so 11 days.
Oh,
And
yeah, okay.
then come Friday, they're like, hey, I actually need this done by 7 a.m. tomorrow. So so what was 11 days turned into, you know, 24 hours. And, you know, client expectations change a lot, you know, and it's well, and their situations change. So that particular one happened because she had an interview on the news, like on the TV. She was going on a news channel to have an interview, and she was like, "Can you get this done and up and functional?" And I was like, "Uh, you know, maybe." So I like completely rewrote my whole plan for that day and like hammered it out because I was like just getting like all the information collected. I had like the skeletons of the site set up,
Yeah.
and we were like at the point of like buying the domain and getting that set up. And I was like, okay, this is the first thing we have to do because this could be anywhere from like 15 minutes to, you know, 72 hours for this to work properly. So we got to do this right now. That was the first thing we did was get that done. And it was like, luckily it was an hour, like for it to like roll out and be working proper. So did that. And then it was just like start smashing information into the website from there. And it was like, that was just my whole day. Just smash information into the website. And then like I texted her at like 9 o'clock at night. That was from like 8:30 in the morning to 9 o'clock at night. And I texted her and I was like, everything's in and done. Images are there, all the information's in there, everything's set up. All the like, please, for the love of God, I know you're gonna be up until like 2 in the morning pacing around. How about while you're pacing, just get on the website and go through and click on everything and look at everything and send like email me a list of what is right and what's wrong and what's not working correctly so I can fix it like first thing in the morning. So I woke up at like 5:30 and I had an email. She's like, this link doesn't work and that link doesn't work and change this wording. And that was it. And I was like,
There you
it's like
go.
cool. I had three things I screwed up because I like speed run. I did a speed run on a website, and I don't like doing them in 24 hours because it takes me time to like think about like, oh, why isn't this working? Why isn't that working right? What's going on here? And I have to get up and I got to go pace around and think about why isn't this formatting correctly? Why isn't this, you know, sometimes stuff doesn't work right, and you got to like take yourself out of the situation. You got to go have a walk around and come back to it, and then it'll just work right for whatever freaking reason you don't understand sometimes. And that's what I did. So I was just like, I didn't have the opportunity to do that. And I missed a few things. And I was like, that was what I explained to her that night. I was like, I'm 100% positive I missed a few things. Your job is to go through and figure out what the hell it was I missed. And she did a good job. And I fixed them the first thing in the morning. She was on the news, and I got them fixed before she was on the news. She was able to say her website while she was on air, and
Nice.
and I was sitting there like, well, I tried to watch. She was on Wayne 15. They have a live stream tab on their website. It didn't work. So I didn't get to watch it. I tried to, which I applied to work for them back when I lived in Fort Wayne, and they didn't hire me. So that's their fault.
I think I think part of our class we're going to be able to go to because I think the library, the main branch, runs a public access station.
Yep. And the guy's name is Otto Andrew, and he is a freaking awesome dude.
So I think part of our one of the things when we're starting to do more studio side stuff in the video and sound side is we're going to go down there and fuck around with them. Should be a lot of fun. I'm looking like photography has been awesome so far. Because I'm learning a lot of the manual camera settings, which I didn't fully understand. And still photography is all right. I'm not as big of a fan of still photography, although kind of like street photography I love. So I might be doing a lot more of that, but holy
Well,
shit.
you'll see like
The video stuff is where I really want to push in. I can use a lot of the techniques because they share so
yes,
much.
that's what I was gonna say. Is like you'll find like a lot of the techniques are shared across like all of the things.
Yeah, and instead of it substitute shutter speed for frames per second. So,
Yeah.
but your ISOs, your apertures, all that stuff just floods back and forth. And I have some nice lenses, which is really nice. Like when I got my camera, a friend of mine bought me. It was a Sigma Trio, and so I have a 16 millimeter 1.4, 30 millimeter 1.4, and a 56 or 53 millimeter
Sigma
1.4.
what?
Which, because I have a crop sensor, turns out to be like 22, 48, and 85.
Sigma what?
Yeah, right. Sigma balls. But no, I've got these. They're fast lenses because I go down to 1.4 for an f-stop, and that's insane.
Yeah.
And I love them. They're really good glass. I have a very beginner's camera body, but I mean, it's got the sensors at 24 megapixels, 24 and a half megapixel sensors, or 32. I can't remember which the M200 is. But it's a mirrorless. It's a little tiny mirrorless thing that I've bought a cage for and all sorts of adaptations.
Nice.
But yeah, I'll be bringing everything up this weekend when I come up
Cool.
to see you.
Yeah. Oh man. Speaking of which, remember last year when I mowed a racetrack into the yard?
And I screwed up because I was going to take video, and I screwed up the video and didn't have any video.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I was last year when I did that, I like downloaded a picture of an actual Mario Kart track and I put it into Google Earth and like overlaid it onto my yard.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
like mowed the actual Mario Kart track. And I don't remember which one it was. It was like Mario Circuit 1 or whatever. It was like one of the actual Mario Kart tracks. Well, I was trying to do the same thing this year, and I was just having a fuck all of a time with trying to get Google Earth to work, like trying to get it like overlaid and set in perfectly, and I was just getting really frustrated with it. And I could then like I got it in on my phone, I got it situated correctly, and it was there, and I could see the track, And then I couldn't like get my GPS to lock in good enough. Like I kept floating all around in my yard. Like I could see my little dot, but it just kept floating all around. And I was like, well, that's not helpful. Like, stop, dude. Like, how am I gonna I can't mow the line if I can't figure out like see where I am on the line. And I finally just gave up with all that. And I was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go like hop on the mower. I'm just gonna free ball it out here. So I just went willy nilly and I mowed my own track. And I did it and it looks cool as shit. So
That's awesome.
now, and then I was like parking the mower and putting stuff in the garage, and I was like, cool, what do we call it? And I was like looking at the different names of the tracks. And I was like, well, this is his second one. Like, let's just call it Dominic Circuit 2. Because it like the tracks, there's like Mario Circuit 2 and Mario Circuit 3 and stuff. And I was like, well, it's his second one. Let's just call it Dominic Circuit 2. And then I was looking at the boards out in the shop and I was like, I have this big ass long white board that I don't want. I have no use for. Like, why don't I just like paint a logo-y thing on it? That's so what my original plan for the day was to like clean up the patio and like pressure wash the patio off after mowing the track. And instead I like drafted out this big old sign that says Dominic Circuit 2. So I have that drafted. And then when we're done recording, I'm going to go out and work on like getting the letters like more drafted in. And then I'm going to like get them painted in. And I have this like metallic blue paint I'm going to put on. And then I painted the board a white. So it's got a nice white background. And then I'm going to put a blue metallic in for the letters. And then I have this like, I have these like silver and gold glitter, like sparkle glitters that I'm just going to kind of hit the whole thing with. So it'll hit like the whole thing will sparkle. And, and then
Cool.
I have to figure out how to mount it out in the yard somehow. So that'll be fun.
That sounds like a
Yeah.
blast. Looking forward to
Yeah.
that.
So it was just like, I should I just like adapted my whole thing. It was like the whole thing was just like sideways the whole day. I was like, should have been easy to just drop that stupid map into Google Earth and hop on the mower and follow it around like I did last year. And none of that was happening, so the whole thing went sideways, and it's been sideways all day.
Yeah.
But it's coming.
Sideways isn't always a bad
Yeah,
thing, though.
I just been rolling with it. So it's gonna, yeah,
Why
it's gonna
not?
come out awesome. So I don't care.
Yeah, adapting to shit, that's
I'm
whenever curveballs come, being able to take that and kind of swerve with it and push it further or push a direction that you want to go. Last week we talked about changes and being willing to change. And a smaller aspect of that is being able to adapt to what's going on around you.
yeah,
And that was something that I learned way early on in the military was there are plans and then there is reality. And you've got to make plans because you have to make plans.
yeah.
But reality then sinks in really freaking fast and plans go way out the
I mean
window.
that's like the whole point of the military is having to adapt to what's going on around you.
Yeah. And that's not necessarily, it's not a bad thing at
Yeah,
all. I mean, adapting is adapting.
yep.
And it's a good skill to learn and good quality to have, especially as if you can do it seamlessly and not getting so stuck in, well, this was the exact plan, therefore because I've seen people melt down from that. This isn't what we planned on. This isn't going exactly how we wanted it. Like, what does? Nothing.
Yeah. I got a little hung up with trying to use the map I wanted to use just because I was like, for fuck's sake, you worked perfect last year. why why don't you want to work now? But I like I don't know. I probably worked on trying to use the map for I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes before I gave up. And then I was like, okay, new plan. I'm just going to wing it.
Yep.
I can do this. It's like, I'm smart enough. I can do that.
Because especially if something's not going to work out the way you want it to, you're not always going to be able to brute force it. And then you get into the problem where you spend more time and energy trying to force something that's never going to happen than anything else. And then you get mega collapsing.
Yeah. I think the next hard part though was because then I just walked out to where the track is, and then I just had to like stand there and kind of visualize what I wanted, you know. So I grabbed a
Yeah.
cigarette and I grabbed my water and I just stood out there and I was like, okay, oof, okay, I can do this here and I can do that there, and I'm going to go this way and I'm going to go around to that, and okay, I'll leap about. Ooh, okay, okay,
Ah,
I
that
got
works.
this. So I just had to like give myself a minute and make sure I had that plan. It's like I had to change plans, so I had to make sure I developed what the new plan was before I jumped in. I was like, I know if I just jump straight in, especially because I was like the grass over there is a good like 8 inches, and I'm cutting it. It's like if I just jump right in, uh,
Well, and that's the other thing too. Adapting doesn't mean not having a
yeah,
plan.
it's just
You just have to be ready and willing to change that plan
yep.
quickly.
Yeah, throwing away your old plan and developing your new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and not all people can do it. Some people, they just, for whatever reason, they cannot make that shift.
Yeah.
And that's not a slight against anyone. If you're one of those people, I'm sorry. It's not a slight against you, but
Yeah.
learning to adapt to what's going on, adapt to your surroundings, it's very helpful.
Yeah. I'm pretty good at adapting like once I see the second plan, you know? Like I have an initial like
Mm. Yeah.
like that initial I don't even want to say fear, but that initial like confusion and that like I guess there is a fear like oh fuck, you know? Like when shit just doesn't go right and you're like fuck. Okay. And all like everything when that first instinct kicks in and it's like everything's reworking.
And on the other hand, for me, I'm really good at improvising on the fly.
Yeah, I am too. I, I
So I don't need to jump from plan to plan. You could throw the whole plan out and then I'm just rolling on the seat of my pants.
yeah, I think sometimes I just
And it's
need a.
not as fun,
I think
but
I think I just need a few minutes to like make sure I stop, have a breath, and like make sure I get myself pointed in a direction. You know,
yeah. Yeah.
I've had a lot of times where I've not done that, and wrecked, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So,
Oh no, I'm not saying that flying off and running and gunning on the seat of your pants, there's not any problems with that. My lord, there are plenty of problems that crop up from that because you crash and burn quickly. But once again, I grew into that mindset in the
yeah,
military. And you kind of had, there are plans, and then there's the shit that happens when all the plans fail, and then you're going, now what?
yeah,
And it's in those moments where you may not have a plan, but you lean heavy on experience and you just roll with it
yeah,
as much as you possibly can.
yeah. It's kind of been my life. Been
Yeah, I
I've been
hear
getting better at rolling with it and like pointing myself in the right and better directions, though. Too.
it. Well,
Yeah,
that's good.
I got a whole
Yeah,
huge.
I'm happy with being able to adapt quickly.
Yeah, I kind of rewrote like my whole business strategy over the last month or so, and you know,
Wheat,
yeah. I mean, I was trying to do too much and not focusing on what was, you know, most important. So I cut a whole bunch of stuff out, focused on what was most important. And now I'm like just hammering through it and just collecting clients. But the silliest shit, like just collecting clients in the silliest ways. Like I had it right before we started. Somebody pulled in my driveway as an auctioneer who's having an auction down the road, and he stopped to ask if he could put a big sign in my yard, uh, like pointing pointing down the road for like to advertise the auction. I was like, yeah, sure. And he gave me his card, and he was like, oh, what were you up to? It's like, oh, we were working on a logo for a client. And like, oh, you do logos and stuff? And I was like, well, mostly build websites. He's like, oh, you should look at mine. I'm like, all right. I'm like, let me grab you a card too. So I grabbed him a card. And he goes, well, how do you find your clients mostly? It's like, well, I do mostly word of mouth, and sometimes they just pull right in my driveway. So it's like I just I just
ease.
kind of jabbed that in there. So he thought that was pretty good, and I think I scored a new website client, and we'll see what comes of that.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
get me a auctions and real estate client for a website.
There you
Yeah, that could
go.
be handy.
Absolutely. Oh man, too much fun with that shit.
That was pretty funny. The look on his face when I said that, he was just tickled to death. He was like, "Yeah, I think you just did find a client that way."
Nice. No, that's the way to do it
Yeah,
though.
yeah, and he was, I chit chatted a little bit because he thought the old owners still lived here, and I was like, "Nah, man, they haven't been here like 4 years. I've been living here. It's like I build websites and I work from home, so." I was actually sitting in my office. He saw me sitting here outside at my, you know, on my patio.
Yep.
So it's because that's where I work. I just he was like, You work from there?" Like, yeah, this is
Absolutely.
my ideal right here, bud. Like, I work from here. I can look out across my backyard. I see the birds. I hear the crickets. Like, I there's nothing I wanted more than this in my whole freaking life, man. Like, I don't go anywhere unless I want to. Half the time I can sit out here in my underwear. Like, you guys don't know. So yeah, and
Perfection.
like he just had this like utmost respect for what I was doing right off the bat. And I like and then when I said the words, you know, sometimes they just pull in my driveway. Like I knew right then he was hooked. Like he was my client right then. And he was just like, "Yep,
Yep.
I needed a new website and you said the right words." And that was that. So now
Yep.
all I got to do is go check out what he has, and I got to call him like sometime next week and be like, "Hey, bud, you you need a website. Like, what do you want it to do?"
That works.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm more than happy and more than willing to do graphic design if they need product pictures or anything like that. I can do the photography stuff.
Yeah, I'm not sure how. I don't know. They do auctions in real estate, so you might have to think about the. You got your 360 camera. You could do walkarounds, houses.
So they discontinued the app and discontinued the 360 camera that I have.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
How's that work?
LG discontinued everything with it.
Wait, what?
So I have a 360 cam, but it's like jumping through hoops to get the software to work properly, and then it only sort of does.
What?
Yup.
Okay. wh- Did does the camera have like a
So
card?
it does, but it has no physical controls. It was all connected. It was all meant to be connected to a smartphone. So like I
Whoa.
can't switch from 180 to 360 mode on it, and I can only take still pictures in 180 right now.
Whoa.
So what I might end up doing eventually, if I decide to go back to doing the 360, I don't know if I want to go back to the 360 stuff. If I do, I will 3D print a rig to put, I think it's like 6 or 8 action cameras in a spherical way, and then have it with a tripod mount or something that way. And so you can buy them, or you can get the 3D printed stuff to affix, and so you just run the 6 cameras, then stitch it in
Yeah.
post
Just do it yourself.
and just stitch it yourself.
Jesus, that's stupid.
Before I go anywhere close to 360, I'm eyeing getting a drone that can do up to 4K video,
Hmm.
as well as still pictures,
That'd be cool.
and going with drone photography style
Yeah.
stuff.
Eh,
But that's down the road a bit more.
Cool. Yeah, I'll have to do some research and figure out what they're gonna need and then like go from there. But
Yeah, no. And like I said, we could be working together, and you can subcontract me for certain things, kind of like what we're doing with some of the graphic
yeah,
stuff,
that's
you know,
kind
and
of my plan.
and I'll just work for you as a
Yeah,
subcontractor.
you're my graphic design subcontractor.
Yeah, that works. And maybe even event photographer if you need something for that too
Yep.
eventually. And then once I actually get a decent video camera, then I can do event videography.
Well, if you go about getting a 360 camera rig set up with a bunch of action cams, they need to have live stream capabilities. So that's something you got to think about because then we could set those up on their own tripods and we could do a live stream.
Dude, you know how much bandwidth fucking pumping out 360 footage would
No,
be.
not doing it as 360. We'll have to separate them out of the 360 rig and set them up as separate.
Oh, yeah. No, I would definitely use the action cams that way. That would be able to connect up and we could
Yep.
do video events. Yeah, I still want to build some sort of plan for us and figure out what we need to get that
You
going.
need to get enough cameras to set up your 360 rig. But they need to be the action cams that also live stream, Dave. So when you're looking at those, they have to be dual purpose.
No, I know.
Because then you can dual purpose them.
Yep.
Put that on your list.
Yeah, no, they'll definitely be. Yeah, right. Dude, if I just wish this shit wasn't so expensive. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, no, that's why I haven't jumped into any of that. I can live stream audio all fucking day long, but I'm not jumping into video for a while.
I just love it too much to not jump into it. I just have to figure out the best way to jump into it.
You know, I got the GoPro because I had heard that you could do that with the GoPro. Like I'd read that you could like live stream from a GoPro when it's like connected to your phone. So I got
You sort of can, sort of can't.
well, and then it depends on which one you get. So apparently I didn't get the right one because I got like the GoPro 7 Hero, but I didn't get like the Hero Pro, which is what you needed, or I like the Pro Plus or whatever. You could only do it from like the top tier and not whatever tier it was that I got. I got the medium one, like the middle one. I didn't get the bottom one. I got the middle one, and you could only do it from the top one. And I was like, just what the fuck? I was so pissed once I figured that out because it was like a week after I got it once I figured it out because it was so goddamn complicated to set up. And it's so fucking complicated to get attached to your phone. I don't know why everybody likes GoPro. They're so freaking complicated. Like the camera quality
and they're so expensive.
Yeah, but the camera quality is freaking phenomenal. Like the picture quality is great. Video quality is great.
Yeah.
Like we took it into the lake and like I dropped it into the lake and found it and the video it was taken underwater in the lake was amazing. It was awesome. Goddamn, trying to get the video off of it and usable was so freaking hard. I had to get a special adapter, so I just take the SD card out, I put it into the little adapter, and then I put that into my phone. Ugh, what a pain in the dick.
Yeah, they're really good. There's a couple other brands that are starting to catch up. DJI is starting to catch up to them, like really fast. So I don't think I'm going to be going the GoPro route.
Yeah. I think if I look into any others, I'll probably like do some deep dives with you and look at all the feature sets and
yeah.
It probably wouldn't be a bad thing to have, especially doing, if I'm doing gigs like I do, be able to stream video with the sound and.
Yeah, I've just got to figure out. I got to figure out what I would need production wise for a laptop to be able to handle that much video coming in and pushing out to live produce that many video streams without completely frying out a laptop, as well as being able to handle it's going to take some time to get it up and built up and get going, but I still think being able to offer a full live stream package that way would just be phenomenal.
Mine can handle some. I wouldn't say a lot, but I bet I could handle some. Maybe like 3 or 5 video streams,
Yeah, but you also got to remember it's all transcoding as it goes too. And that's the big one. But there's ways of doing it.
And it,
And then it's also a matter of being able to have stable enough, fast enough internet to push all that data out too.
see, that would be the tricky thing, is because a lot of places I play, like where I have shows, did a lot of them don't even have like an internet access, so it would depend
So
on.
then we would have to figure out a mobile run that doesn't slow down or truncate, that would allow us to push out it, to live stream out it,
Yeah,
whatever our or our broadcast quality would
yeah.
be.
Figure out who has what internet we could bring for ourselves.
Yep. And so but it will eventually it would eventually be kind of worth
Yeah.
it. I mean, that'd be one of those things where you just buy an old frickin' 90s minivan and set it up as a mobile frickin' production van,
Yeah.
or even a newer van or whatever. Because, yeah, I mean, especially for internet, I don't know. Well, let's see how it all work together. We just got to build a plan for that and figure out what we need, what we want to offer, and how we want to do it.
Yeah. We can do it.
I mean, there's definitely a way to do it for under $5,000 for setup.
Yeah.
And then just add better stuff as we go along. Having action cams off as secondary cameras and having a really nice camera down the middle at the stage. That would eventually happen.
Yeah, because you'd want some action
So,
cams to get up, like, in the singer's face and in the guitar player's face, stuff like that.
and I'm not about to start grabbing a handheld and start running and
Yeah.
shooting. That's not going to happen. I nope.
That's what your drone's for, Dave.
Right.
Actually, could you do that with the drone? Could we just have one drone and one solid good camera?
As long as we have everyone that is there sign a release.
Okay.
That they won't sue us when and if a drone crashes in and
When we
splits their
smash
heads
them in the
open.
face with a drone.
Yep.
I could probably.
And
I could
even
pull that off.
then, depending on the venue, most venue insurances won't insure it.
Well, we'll see. You know how lax most musicians are about doing stupid shit?
Yeah, but most venues are not.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Do you realize that we have duct taped Roman candles to the back of guitars and shot them off before? And you're worried about
That's
flying
awesome.
a drone? We've shot Roman candles off of the back of guitars.
That's funny.
It was badass is what that was.
No kidding.
I think they did that while playing Danger Zone. That was amazing.
Well, I'm going to go get ready and celebrate my 10th anniversary.
Happy anniversary, Dave.
Thank you very much.
I hope you get 10 spankings.
I appreciate it. And we'll see you this weekend.
Yeah. And
for everybody else out there, have a great week.
I'll see you next week. And remember,
yeah,
it's not gay to hell, it's straight to hell.
Later.